We're also seeing some signs of increased pressure on foreign investors, restrictions on the access to some corporate data. What do we know about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult getting accurate information out of China. I mean, if you're not in China, it's difficult already to be a China correspondent. It's difficult to be a China analyst, an asset manager, and the like. You really need to be in China to get the real pulse of what's happening there and get access to real-time data. Unless, of course, you subscribe to a number of different information services like Wind Information. But there are others like Chi Cha Cha and also Tianyan Cha. What we're hearing from sources is that these companies that provide information to a number of Chinese corporates, whether it's stock holdings, affiliates, possible, risk issues, a whole wealth of information on tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of different companies and executives and the like. They pay for this service if they are from outside of China. But we're hearing from sources that they've been sort of cut off from access since about last month. This is Shuli Ren's comment. She is a Bloomberg opinion columnist. She had a great column yesterday on the Bloomberg terminal. I highly recommend everyone read it. And that is essentially what I'm saying. Locals probably can get, circumvent these new regulations. They can probably get a lot of this data. But if you're outside of China, now because it's being cut off, whether it's because of national security risks, data security risks, or what, it is much more difficult. In China, there are gray, if not black markets for just about everything, including financial data. Now, there's other risks, aside from just not being in the know, and that is potentially espionage, because keep in mind the Chinese government last month passed a new espionage law that essentially widens the parameters. Other elements could be considered to be espionage, and that adds to an extra risk for foreigners doing business in China. Even the AmCham president, American Chamber of Commerce in China president, essentially saying our clients are spooked. Who's going to be the next Bain? Because Bain and other Minsk Group and other consultancies, U.S. consultancies in China, they have, according to local media in China, have had authorities essentially visit them. Another word, a euphemism for being raided. So there's risks now, added risks to foreigners doing business, which was always risky in the first place.
Always risky, but now we're really seeing it play out when it comes to the recovery or weak recovery in foreign investment, right? There's a lot of scrutiny for foreign firms that are already in China.
Yeah, I mean, on the face of things, this would sort of defy what the Chinese leadership has been saying, whether it's Xi Jinping or the new premier, Li Qiang, that China is open for business. Now that China is opening up from COVID-0, we want to attract the foreign investment, et cetera, et cetera. But this is obviously adding a lot more hesitancy, if you will, about investment plans going into China, especially if there are potential espionage risks going forward.